Very good morning. My name is Pradeep Yuvaraj and I represent TIE Global as a member of TIE as well as TIE Coimbatore. And I'm also filling in some very big shoes actually. The speaker right now in this slot was supposed to be the Padman of India, someone who's been in the top 100 people in time. So I will try to do justice to that. And Mr. MohanaSundari has a style which is to not stand on the podium because you're always kind of bored standing on the podium. So I'll come down there and for the next 30 odd minutes I'll share with you my thoughts on SMEs and building in India for the world. What I will try to do is summarize my experience as a storyteller working with almost 600 plus startups from across the world. I will also summarize some of the lessons that I've seen in Mr. MohanaSundari's life. So in his absence here, I will try to bring in his thoughts as well. And I will also try to summarize some of the lessons I have learned over the last 7 months researching about this city, the city of enterprise, the city of tenacity, the city of audacity, Coimbatore. We've been doing a big project to brand Coimbatore, so learn some lessons and SMEs form the fulcrum of those lessons. I will try to share those in the form of some slides. Wonderful. So let me put my time on. Check. Cool. So I represent in front of you this brand called Coimbatore. We call ourselves Tenacity. Why Tenacity? I will tell you a couple of stories so you understand why this city calls itself Tenacity. Way back in the late 1890s, the only soil that was left to grow crop was the black soil, and black soil requires a lot of water to irrigate. The people in our city, they built 2,500 wells. Can you believe it? 2,500 wells manually to dig and get water in a drought-prone city and grow cotton where it was never grown. So that's how the city got the tag of Manchester of South India, because of the cotton that we brought. We got cotton, but what do you do with the cotton? You want to make yarn out of it, but the Britishers said, sorry boss, we will not give you electric motors. So they stopped the import of electric motors because the British realized that if we get control of textiles, we will get a control of a major part of the British trade. So our guys, they looked at electric motors from Germany, from Britain. They looked at, please mark my words, they looked at, they did not have them, they did not touch them, they just looked at that, and the first electric motor in India was invented in this very city. People were tenacious enough and audacious enough to say that, boss, if you don't give me motors, I will build my own motors. So that's how the city got its whole inheritance. Mr. Balasubramanian from Textool was the one who started off that revolution, and from him, the entire Ganapati area that you see in Coimbatore, almost 2,500 small and medium enterprises, in some or the other way, most of them are related to Textool Balasubramanian's company because he brought in a culture of innovation inside the company. He created entrepreneurs who went on to become entrepreneurs, and that's what probably I will bring in today to share with all of you as to how you and me as SMEs can take India to the world and also bring the world to India. Like I said, we are working on a project to brand Coimbatore. We have created this slide. We will share this with you as well as part of CII, where we want to talk to the world about why Coimbatore is such a great city to start business with, to do business in, to do business with. And of course, the underlying theme is we are a city of enterprise. We are also a city that does not want to talk about its past. We are a city that's always eager to travel into the future. And at the same time, come what may, whether we get support, we do not get support, we are a city that has time and again proven to the world that we can make it right here. And that is the spirit that we would like to share today through the whole talk. I take us back 3,000 years earlier when Pungundrar used the words Yadum Ure, Yavarum Keli, which in fact Prime Minister Narendra Modi used the same context in the United Nations speech to say that the world is one place. Today we are talking about globalization, today we are talking about world diminishing boundaries or physical boundaries, but 3,000 years ago our saint Pungundrar said the same word. So one story from history. The other story from history, and I'm using a terminology from the younger generation, ROFL and LOL and oh my God. So these are two gentlemen you see. One is Daniel Pink, a gentleman who wrote a book called A Whole New Mind, and the other one is Thomas Friedman, who wrote a book called The World is Flat. The premise of both the books was, how is it that America can become a superpower again? Because Daniel Pink said that most of the jobs that can be duplicated or repeated are going to be outsourced to Asia, right? So they use the word abundance, Asia and automation will make America irrelevant. That's the exact words that Daniel Pink used. The other premise that Thomas Friedman used was saying that the world is becoming flatter, technology is making the world flatter, so if America has to survive, they have to adopt to newer things and be adaptive to whatever is happening in the world and not stay with their past history as something that they can be proud of. The irony is that we Asians also can read those books. We wrote those books. And today it has come to a stage where those lessons that they spoke for the context of America has become more relevant for Indians and Asians. And we have taken over even the right brain thinking that they had predicted will rule the world. So it is time that SMEs like you and me, we become right brain thinkers as well and take these lessons that these guys spoke of in 2005 and 2008. And that's why I used the ROFL terminology there, because it's an irony that they had to teach that to us and now we've taken those lessons. So coming to the main theme of building in India for the world, specifically with SMEs. Like Simon Sinek, I like to ask why as the first question always when we do. So number one, why India? Why are we talking about India in the current context? Why not any other country? Three very critical reasons. One, the Web3 has democratized technology. Till Web 2, we were dependent on large American companies and large European companies for the hardware and the infrastructure, whether it is Amazon Web Services or whether it is Microsoft. But with Web 3 and blockchain technology, what has happened is all that has been erased, and India is at the forefront. So that's why if you see the biggest investors, VC investments in blockchain are happening in India, because Indians are at the forefront of that. There are close to 4 million Indian software engineers who are involved with blockchain technology. Number two, we have been blessed with the kind of demography that no other country has. The population between 20 and 40 that can really give its life and heart and soul to any business is probably making up 70% of our population. And number three, the fact that education has become like a fundamental requirement for every Indian. 10, 15 years ago, we were talking about putting everyone in school. Now we are talking about putting everyone in post-graduation. These three things combined together have given India a very strong footing to lead the next revolution for the world. To summarize, if you work with India, what you're doing is you're leveraging the power or the entrepreneurial spirit of 100 million people or 1 billion people, right? It is not that people who are running their companies are entrepreneurs. The spirit of entrepreneurship runs in every single Indian today because of what's happening around us. I remember a story that the gentleman from Byju's, Ravindran from Byju's narrated. In a conference, he met a 72-year-old lady from Lucknow who wanted to do a startup selling chaat. And the same conference, he met a 7-year-old girl from Mangalore who was building an app for Apple's iStore. So the spirit of entrepreneurship is not limited to any age. It's from the length and breadth of the country. And that's what you're doing when you're doing business with India. And when you talk to your customers, tell them this, boss, you're not doing business with me. You're doing business with 1 billion people who have the spirit of enterprise in them. Why Coimbatore? Lufthansa, so I use the airline code rather than using the long word Coimbatore. Like, why Coimbatore at this stage and SMEs? Like I said, historically we have been a city that has been founded by small and medium enterprises trying to supply to larger companies. When the world did not think about supply chain, we were thinking about supply chain. When the world did not know what malls were, we had theaters with 7 screens in them. When the world did not know what IP was there, we were patenting our IP. The world's first bulletproof helmet was invented in the city. The Britishers did not let us import buttons, so our guys went and used coconut shells to build buttons. So that's the kind of spirit that city has. And this is the spirit that you can actually leverage, because you have so many people who will be your supplier, but at the same time, they're innovative suppliers who can help you achieve your dreams faster. And why SMEs to take India to the world? Because SMEs are nimble. They are like a cheetah that can move and change according to the situation changing. Large behemoths like the large PSU companies that we had, the big elephants, they're not going to be relevant in a few years. But SMEs, each one doing a small component of a larger picture. Every rocket in India that flies out of ISRO has carbon clothing that's built in this exact city. And why is it that possible? Because it's a small team of 15 people focusing on one single thing. And that's why it makes very important message that if India has to lead and has to build for the world, it has to be via SMEs and not large companies with 10,000 and 20,000 odd people. So with that context set, what is it that's fostering this kind of a Build in India campaign or a Build in India philosophy? Number one, we are a country that today is at the perfect crossroads of ambition, skill and capital. Whether it is human capital or whether it is monetary capital, India today is at a golden period where all these three have come together. Metaphorically, I have used an infinity that extended into one more infinity. So the possibilities are not infinite, they are infinitely infinite possibilities that this country has brought forth. The second part that we need to focus on is that slowly but surely we are moving from an agriculture and service-based economy to a knowledge and a product-based economy. And this is where SMEs are going to play a phenomenal role, because this is where 5-member, 10-member, 30-member companies are going to define innovation and what the future holds for us. So like I said, I would like to summarize the lessons from Mr. Muruganathan's life and my own life as well as a storyteller to give you 7 action items that you and me, okay, cool, I have 3 more minutes, to give you 7 key action items that you, each of you sitting in this hall, I can see that there's a very diverse group. There are people from travel, there are people from manufacturing, there are people from education, there are people from varied societies of startups of life. So I don't want to give one manufacturing message, which might be very cliched. What I would like to do is to give you 7 messages that you and me as SMEs can use and leverage to be relevant, but more importantly, to rule the world. So number 1, embrace technology. Today, till 10 years ago, we were talking about technology as the next thing. Today, technology is the thing. There is no way that you and I can say that I will not use technology. I'm old. My company was started by my father. I am just an engineer. I don't know what is latest technology. No, we can't stay away from technology. Technology has permeated into every single aspect of our life, right from the toilet that you go to probably the aeroplane that you're flying in. Technology is there everywhere. So embrace technology. Don't come up with an excuse saying that I'm an SME, I don't need big technology. Technology is going to take you to the world. Number 2, think design first. What Daniel Pink said in his book, A Whole New Mind, is that for a long time we have been an industrial era or a technology era culture, but it is important that we become a design first culture. What is design? Design is nothing but everything else beyond the functionality of that particular product. So let me put my teacher hat on. If this is the remote that I'm using to move my slides, this could have been square, this could have been circular, right? The function would still be the same, it will move my slides. Why did they make it sleek like this so that I can hold it in my hand? That is what is design. And who better to use the example than Steve Jobs? What did Steve Jobs do? He didn't create a new phone, he didn't create a new laptop. All that he realized is that human beings like touch, feel, and those senses, and if I can cater to that, and if I put design first before I design my products, then I can rule the world. So as an SME, remember, we also need to put design first. It could be the aesthetics of a product, it could be the color of your product, it could be the emotional connect of your product, it could be the story that you tell for your product. Lesson number 3, start thinking like a startup. Why are we so excited? The moment I say startup, what comes to your mind? 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds sitting in their bunker beds and sitting in their offices with sleek machines and dogs, all those coming. But for some odd reason, when I say SME, what comes to your mind? A lathe operator, a small shed, a tin factory, right? We need to transform that. We need to become those kind of startup, not in the physical infrastructure sense, but in the mentality sense. Try to be as innovative as possible. I will go back again to Mr. Balasundaram. What did he do? He trained 200 of his employees to do everything that he knew to do. So that way he was able to scale up when scalability was not even a word in the dictionary. And that's how, if you see in Ganpati today, almost 95% of companies that are there in Ganpati were actually ex-textile employees, because he brought in that culture there, because he thought like a startup. You and me, we have to think like a startup all our lives. Foster innovation. Bring in a culture where every single employee is allowed the freedom and independence to come up with new ideas and thoughts that can help either your business or that can help their career growth. Do not stop them saying that, hey, this is an idea that's already been done, hey, this is not something that we want to do. So bring in that culture. As an SME, innovation is something we all need to permeate right down to your watchman. Is he able to probably do something innovative? If he is doing it, foster it. solve global problems. Again, the word SME kind of brings a connotation that we are solving local problems. We are a small company. No. When you start solving real life challenges, see if you can scale that real life challenge and solve it not only for India or not only for Coimbatore, but for the entire world. Because if it is relevant here, it's probably relevant in France as well, it's probably relevant in Honolulu as well, it's probably relevant in Belgium as well. So see if you can tweak your model or tweak your IP to such a way that you can actually cater to a global audience. Then the possibilities are infinite. Be open and be ready. Why do we use this term? Because the world is coming to India and they're coming with Lufthansa. They're flying in via Lufthansa because they know this is the biggest market that they will ever have. With the kind of political issues that are going in China, I'm sure in the next 10 years we will be way ahead as the destination that the world wants to come to. They want to come and leverage our brains. They want to come and leverage our graduates. They want to come and leverage our cost benefits. And when they come here, do you think they can set up business just like that? What did the East India British company do? They made friends with the Maharajas of Kolkata and started business. And that's what exactly is going to happen again. And when those guys come here, you, if you're there, open arms, saying that, boss, why do you want to set up a factory? I have a factory, I will manufacture it for you. I will produce it for you. All that you need is give me the money and give me the knowledge transfer. So be ready and be open. There are a lot of great things going to happen in the next 10, 15 years for India, thanks to China and Russia and all the other things that are happening in the world. And because I am a storyteller, I have to tell all of you, I'm a storyteller as well. For long, we have taught manufacturing, business, industry means numbers, data, statistics, but really, who are you all? You're human beings, right? Who's your customer? He's a human being. Who's your vendor? He's a human being. She is a human being. Let me be a little diverse as well. Who's your buyer? A human being. And stories sell. The moment you start telling facts and data via stories, it starts selling. Some of the best companies in the world. What did Apple do? He sold the story of great benefits. What did Steve Jobs do when he announced the iPod? Did he say 35 gigahertz of storage, aluminum body, bulletproof, blah, blah, nothing. He said, ladies and gentlemen, I am giving you a device that will help you carry 1,000 songs in your pocket. That was the story. Find a story in your business, find a story in your product, and trust me, your scalability and your growth will be 2x, 3x, 10x as well. As a 8th bonus point, do join TIE, the largest network of entrepreneurs in the world. Unlike many other organizations, this is an organization that's been created by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. So these are people who want to give back. These are probably entrepreneurs are the only breed in the world who always want to give back. Trust me. You go to let's say, sorry Srikanth, I'm using your example, okay? A gentleman in Lufthansa, right? I'm SpiceJet. I go to Srikanth and say, can you give me some tactics? Do you think Srikanth will give me business tactics? No, we are competitors, right? But if I go to the other Srikanth, who's probably my competitor, and say, Srikanth, I am running the same business as you, can you help me? He'll be more than happy. He will want to mentor me and he will want to help me. And that's what TIE is, the largest network of entrepreneurs in the world, present in 57 different locations in the world, started by some of the greatest entrepreneurs that this world has seen. So be a member of TIE. There are a lot of benefits that you can leverage. You can become global in one shot. The shortest way that you can become global is to join the largest network of global entrepreneurs. And tomorrow you have contact numbers of 15,000 entrepreneurs sitting in 57 different locations. So I've done my sales of TIE. I would like to close off with these lines that Baiju Ravindran had said, that we are a can-do nation. We are a can-do nation. And to all of you sitting here from Coimbatore and from other cities, as SMEs, let's do it and let's do it together. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.